All right, let's talk about the secret sauce behind some of the biggest applications in the world. We're going to pull back the curtain on the database technology that quietly powers them. Let's jump in.
Okay, so I want you to picture this. It's Amazon Prime Day, right? Millions of us are hitting add to cart at the exact same time. The question is, how on earth does a system handle that? We're talking over 100 million requests every single second. How does it not just, completely fall over?
Because the simple fact is, well, most databases just can't handle it. They break. I mean, they were never designed for this kind of insane, unpredictable, planetary scale traffic. They just hit a wall and poof, your app is down.
But what if you had a database that was built from the ground up specifically for this exact billion-user problem? Well, that's where AWS Dynamo DB comes in. This thing is engineered to handle what feels like, well, infinite scale.
Okay, I know, that's a big definition full of some serious buzzwords. But what is all that stuff? Fully managed, serverless, NoSQL, what does it actually mean for you? At its core, we're talking about a database that's ridiculously fast, super flexible, and honestly, it just completely changes the game when you think about scale. So let's break that down, piece by piece.
So DynamoDB really stands on these 4 core pillars. First up, fully managed. What's that mean? Simple. You never have to worry about servers or patching ever again. AWS handles all that heavy lifting. Then there's serverless, and this is where the magic really happens. It can scale from 0 requests all the way up to millions, and then right back down to 0, automatically. You don't touch a thing. You literally only pay for what you use. Next, it's highly available. Your data gets copied across 3 different separate locations instantly. So if one of them has an issue, your app won't even blink. And finally, it's global. This means your users in Tokyo get the same snappy, fast performance as your users in New York. Pretty cool, right?
Okay, that all sounds great on paper, right? But does it actually work in the real world? Where's the proof? Well, let's take a look at some of the absolute biggest apps on the planet that are betting their businesses on this thing every single day.
And yeah, we're coming right back to where we started. Amazon itself. Their entire shopping cart, the checkout system, the very heart of their massive e-commerce empire, it all runs on DynamoDB. This is the secret weapon for how they survive the absolute madness of Prime Day and Black Friday without even breaking a sweat.
Or think about this. Have you ever added a movie to your watch list on Disney+? Yep, that little click is powered by DynamoDB. It's managing all that critical user data, watch lists, viewing history, you name it, for over 100 million subscribers. It's what keeps the experience smooth and seamless, no matter if you're watching on your giant TV or on your phone. And just for a second, try to wrap your head around the sheer volume of data we're talking about here. Duolingo? They track every single lesson, every correct answer, every mistake for millions of users. That adds up to over 30 billion items of data. And DynamoDB just chews through it, keeping the app snappy and responsive for everyone. All right, so it's clear the big players love this stuff. But what about you? What about for your projects? Let's get down to brass tacks here and build a little playbook. We need to know when to reach for DynamoDB and, maybe even more importantly, when you absolutely should not. It really just boils down to asking yourself 3 yes or no questions. This is your mental checklist. Question 1, do you know exactly how you're going to access your data ahead of time? We're talking, I will always look up a user by their user ID, not, I might need to search for users in 10 different ways. Question 2, do you need what feels like infinite horizontal scaling? Are you preparing for massive unpredictable growth? And question 3, do you just want to completely forget that servers even exist? If you're nodding your head and saying yes, yes, and yes, then DynamoDB should be super high on your list. And this is the key takeaway, the big trade-off you have to understand. DynamoDB is purpose-built for one thing, incredible speed at massive scale, using simple known lookups. But if your job is to run complex business reports, things like calculating the average sales across millions of rows, or if your data is all tangled up and highly relational, then an old-school SQL database is still going to be your best friend. It's about the right tool for the right job. Now, to be successful with DynamoDB, you absolutely have to play by its rules. You have to respect its limitations. Think of these as the hard walls of the system. You just can't break them. First, there's a size limit on any single piece of data. Second, and this is a big one, you never ever scan the whole table in a live application. And third, there are no complex joins like you might be used to in SQL. You gotta know these going in. And this quote right here, it's the perfect way to understand that 400 kilobyte limit. It's simple. Don't put the huge video file in DynamoDB. No way. You put the video's ID, the little pointer, in DynamoDB, and you put the actual massive file in a storage service like S3. It's a fundamental design pattern, and it's absolutely critical to get right.
Okay, let's talk about money. How much does this all cost? Well, the cool thing is you have options. If your traffic is all over the place, spiky and unpredictable, then on-demand mode is your go-to. You just pay for each request. Simple as that. But if you have a nice, steady, predictable workload, you can use provisioned mode. It's cheaper because you're telling AWS how much capacity you need ahead of time. And there's even a third option for data you hardly ever touch, like old archives. It's all about picking the right cost model for your specific needs to avoid any surprise bills. And get this, if you really know your workload is going to be steady for a year or more, the savings can be absolutely massive. By using something called reserved capacity, you can slash your bill by up to 77%. I mean, 77%. That's not just a small optimization. That's a huge deal. So we've covered the what, the why, and the how of DynamoDB as it exists today. But where is all this headed? What about tomorrow? Because the future isn't just about storing data anymore. It's about turning all that data into actual intelligence.
The really big shift that's happening right now is this move away from these slow, clunky old processes for getting data ready for AI. You see, it used to mean that you'd have to build these complicated data pipelines just to move information from your database over to your AI models. The future, though, is something called zero ETL. It means that connection is basically instant. And that lets your AI act on what's happening right now, not on data from yesterday. And this really shows how DynamoDB is transforming from just a place to store stuff into an active, breathing part of the whole AI ecosystem. For example, it can power vector search that lets you search for things based on meaning and context. So you could search for, say, funny movies about robots instead of just typing in exact keywords. It can also stream live data right into machine learning models for predictions that happen in real time. It's really evolving into this AI-ready intelligence layer. So as we wrap this all up, it really leaves us with one final, pretty important question to chew on. Your database today, yeah, it stores your data, we know that. But when you look at where everything is headed, when you see these trends, is it really ready for the AI-driven future? A future that honestly is already here. It's definitely something to think about.